Do you want to create exam-style revision questions in seconds? Well, today I'm going to show you how to use ChatGPT to generate high-quality A-level biology questions, although you could apply this to any topic, complete with answers, feedback, and even AI-powered marking. But before we jump in, I'm going to also share with you some crucial setup tips that will make ChatGPT's responses far more accurate, trust me. And the 10 minutes it takes to do that extra step is going to save you hours in the long run. Plus, don't miss this week's freebie that I'll be sharing with you at the end, which is a PDF of the exact ChatGPT prompts that you can copy and paste into ChatGPT to create these revision materials pretty much instantly. Hey there, teachers. Welcome to Miss Estruch Teach and Tell, the podcast where every week I dive into all the tips and tricks that make teaching life so much easier. Whether you're a veteran educator, an early career teacher learning the ropes, or balancing the classroom with being a busy parent, this will help you streamline your workload and bring a bit more balance to your life. You bring the coffee and I'll bring the teach and tell. Hey everyone, and welcome to Miss Estruch Teach and Tell, the podcast designed to help busy, overworked teachers streamline that workload and reclaim their evenings. I'm your host, Miss Estruch, and every week I share practical strategies to save you time, help you focus on what truly matters, teaching effectively whilst maintaining your own time. Right, quick coffee catch up. This week I've been in full-on prep mode for Easter Biology Bootcamp. I'm actually running two. I've got a GCSE Biology Bootcamp, which I'm running by myself. It's 4 days over the Easter holidays, just 1 hour each morning online. And then the A-level version I'm running with Olivia, as in Biology with Olivia, and we're doing it again 4 days, but we're doing an hour each. And each of those for GCSE and A-level is focusing on exam technique to help students in that final push before their exams improve what is so vital, which is exam technique. So full on prep, making those lessons, also marketing it on social media, which some teachers, which maybe you're a listener, may have contacted because you were asking, can you bulk buy spaces for your students? Now, it's going to be a little bit tricky because we've nearly sold out of the spaces. So you wouldn't be able to bulk buy for your whole year because we only have 100 spaces per session and we've nearly sold out. But if you are interested, what we have said is if you do really want to bulk buy and get a school license for your students, then we can actually give you a recordings school license. So as soon as the event has finished, we record it. So you could then get access for your students, the recording, they still get the lesson slides and the workbooks. So if you are interested in then getting that, and then they can get it immediately after Easter, then you can send me an email, missestruch@gmail.com, and I can talk to you about how that can be possible for your school. Okay, today's main content. If you didn't see last week's episode or listen to it on the podcast, then I highly recommend that you do, because I went through the commonly assessed topics for AQA A-level biology. And today what I'm going to be doing is how you can use ChatGPT to utilize that information to make some really impactful revision lessons. Now I'm going to be focusing on, in particular, how you can make activities to test their knowledge. So we're going to be looking at creating short answer questions, or it could be multiple choice, fill in the gaps. But not only that, how you can use ChatGPT to automatically mark, provide feedback as well. So the first thing is how I recommend that you set up ChatGPT before you even give it any instructions. And this will take you about 10 minutes probably to do, to set it up in this way. But investing these 10 minutes, if you are going to use ChatGPT a lot, will significantly optimize how ChatGPT will respond to your requests and dramatically improve the accuracy and save you time later. So it is worthwhile investing this 10 minutes. So number one, you may not realize, but on ChatGPT, you have a section which is on the left that is chats, where you basically just type in your requests or prompts. But just above that, there's a section called projects. And if you are going to ask the same thing on repeat, you might as well create a project, and then you can have multiple chats in that project. And the reason for that is you can give a set of instructions for that project, and it will then remember that for every subsequent chat in that project. So I'll give you an example. You might have a project for your A-level biology classes. So you could give the context for that project that you are teaching AQA, it's A-level biology. For 2025, you could say I have 2 or 3 classes, whatever it might be. capacity, the class size, their ability or their target grades, any special educational needs anyone has in that class. And you could say, I want you to remember this for every chat I have in this project. And then you don't have to type that every single time, and it will make sure it's always applied to that. The next thing is, in that project, you can upload documents that it can learn from as well. So I would then upload the AQA specification PDF. I would also upload a paper 1, 2, and 3, the mark scheme, and examiner's reports. That's the bit that might take a bit of time if you don't already have those downloaded somewhere on your school system, but it is worth the time, because if you then upload all of those documents and say, I've given you the AQA spec, I've given you past papers and the mark schemes and the examiner's reports, I want you to acknowledge that and pay attention to it whenever you are designing questions and feedback. And in that way, you will now get specification specific questions, mark scheme specific key points that it knows from the mark scheme, but also when it has to give feedback, it understands the sorts of feedback that's come up from examiners' reports. So that will probably take about 10 minutes, but it is so worth it. And you can have then a project for your year 12s, your GCSEs, whatever year group it is. Give the context of the students and that class, give the documents, and then from there on, you can always do the chats in that project. So now we've got our project set up, we can start to create some revision activities for our year 13s. But as I said, if you want to apply this to year 11s, year 12s, whatever year group, whatever subject, it still works. I'm just going to talk about it from the point of view of year 13s, AQA A-level biology, but you can manipulate this for anything. So if we want to generate a revision question set in seconds, what I would then do is start a chat in that project. And I might say, generate 5 AQA A-level biology multiple choice questions on gas exchange with 4 answer options each. I want you to also provide me with the correct answer and a short explanation as to why that is correct and why the other 3 distractors were incorrect. Now, as a bonus tip, if you're going to be using this on Google Forms or Kahoot, then you can literally say to ChatGPT as well, format the quiz for Google Forms or format it for Kahoot. So then if you're going to be doing any copy and pasting later, it's so much easier. I mean, I personally then just copy and paste and put it into a PowerPoint slide and it is ready to go. But this is so useful because you get the questions, you get the options for the answers, and you get feedback. So that has easily created you a 10-minute starter or a plenary, or you could use it in the middle of the lesson, wherever you want to use it. And if you want to get even more specific, if you get your response back from ChatGPT and you think, I don't feel it's quite specific enough, where you said gas exchange, you could literally say specification point and give the number gas exchange and say, look at the PDF spec that I gave you when you write this. Because sometimes you do need to remind it to look back at the exact points to improve the accuracy of the output you're getting. Now, I found this really helpful for math skills as well. So I have given it the information on standard form or significant figures or whatever skill it might be for maths, like uncertainty. And then I say, create 5 questions, give me the answer, give me a worked example of that answer as well. And the reason this has been really helpful is if you are going to do this as just send it as an email or on show my homework, however you might set the homework, if you've done that digitally or you've asked for a digital response from students, you could then just copy all of the responses, put it into ChatGPT and say, I want you to mark these for me. And not only that, say which is correct, which is wrong. I want you to put the corrections in and then give an overall what went well and even better if. And then you can copy and paste that and give them electronic feedback. And this is one of the most effective ways that I have found for providing instant feedback like that and getting ChatGPT to mark it. I do still highly recommend you check it. Don't just literally copy and paste and assume it's correct, because I have sometimes found with this, it doesn't understand the nuances. I think I had one where it was talking about hydrogen bonds. I don't think it accepted when it was phrased in I can't remember what it was now. Maybe they said H bonds or hydrogen bonds. It wasn't literally that, but there was some nuance to a written answer rather than a maths answer that ChatGPT had marked incorrect when I knew it would have been correct on the actual mark scheme. So you still check it, but doing those little checks is far quicker than marking an entire set of maybe 20 questions. So that's one option you could do if you want to start setting more frequent short answer questions for homework and get it marked this way. Equally, you might think for yourself, I'm probably just quicker marking it. And if that's the case, then just stick to using ChatGPT for creating the questions and the answers for you to look at so that you're not having to use all that time working out questions for yourself. Now, that's an example looking at short answer questions, but you could just say, I want you to create a fill in the gaps activity. And you could even copy and paste a section from your textbook or from the spec and say, I want it based on this. You could say what level of challenge you want, how many gaps you want. If you want them to have a word bank, then you could ask for the word bank as well. You could have distractors in the word bank. So you can really tailor your instructions for exactly what you want in that fill in the gaps activity. Or you could ask for a series of true or false questions. Or you could ask for a categorizing. So you could say, I want you to come up with a categorize activity for DNA and RNA. Or it could be for prokaryotic cells and eukaryotic cells. And then they will have a whole bank of statements and the students have to categorize it into the correct columns. So it's a whole range of activities that you could come up with and get ChatGPT to create. Or if you're struggling to think of those activities yourself, ask ChatGPT to come up with a list of retrieval activities ideas and then ask it to create it as well. So that is a range of ways you could be using ChatGPT to come up with retrieval activities, to generate retrieval activities, to mark it, and to provide feedback. Now, all of those you still need to check, but as I said, to improve the quality of the output and the accuracy, invest the time to actually upload the spec, past papers, mark schemes, and the examiner's reports so that you get more specific and accurate outputs. So the quick win of the week. If you listened to my episode last week on the most commonly assessed topics, you would have already seen that proteins and carbohydrates are up there for paper one. They assessed almost all the time. So if you do want a quick win to get your students ready for paper one, then I do have a biological molecules revision lesson ready-made that is available on my website. And it includes a ready-made PowerPoint that you can use straight away and deliver, all of the card sort activities discussed, and teaching guidelines and tips within the notes section of the PowerPoint. So I'll link that in the description below if you just want a ready-to-use biological molecules revision lesson. And today's resource roundup then. This week's freebie is my ChatGPT prompt sheet for the revision questions and marking that we've gone through today. So you can use the link below to download this to save you having to come up with all these prompts, or if you want to have written down what I was saying about those projects versus chats, that's in the free Word doc that you can download and then just copy and paste it and edit it for your personal needs. So that is it for today's episode. I hope you found it helpful and it will inspire you to go and create a whole range of new revision activities if you want to. Obviously, don't reinvent the wheel if what you've got already works. Make sure you subscribe, and please, if you do have the time to leave a review on Apple Podcasts, then it really helps this podcast to reach even more teachers to help them work smarter and not harder. So hopefully I'll see you next week. You bring the coffee and I'll bring the teaching towel.